Ever watch a thing called TV where they make jokes about dysfunction that causes extreme discomfort and abuse for human beings because we're not living compassionately and intelligently and mercifully? I was sitting there watching, what's the name of that show? Entertainment Tonight. And listening to people talk is painful, man. It's really painful. And then it went on to this thing called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for charity money, right? And then, they have the commercials and stuff, and Meta, do this, Meta, do that, Okay, is Meta being used to apply the physics of the Lord's Prayer so children don't end up in hospitals with hot guys shoving needles in their arms to hit the artery to get blood out because the blood is toxic because of stress, because of economic abuse and manipulation and conflict? Boy, confident and attractive, according to dumbasses who have their heads firmly entrenched up their ass, right? Okay, so why would you pretend to be something you're not for make-believe money when you know make-believe money gets people murdered every day and abused and they end up in hospitals because of it, right? Why would you do that? And why would you still be beginning games for make-believe monies to give to what are called charities after the guy who's the source of the book of Revelation? Okay? So look at these actors and look at the faces on these actors and see how some are funny and some are intelligent and some are they? Is there any intelligence on this? Zach Braff and Donald Faison still have to pretend to be these two clowns of doctors that are friendly and fun and keep their humanity, even though they are just body mechanics, right? And that's all they are. Right? They're not a healer. How do you help heal people? Give them the truth, have them live truthfully, and stop hurting each other through abusing each other through lie, right? That's a healer. A doctor is a body mechanic in a building that is engaging in lie, right? And you guys got to understand that in Earl's time, it wasn't a timing thing. It's just the way that the devil and Satan work with their machines. Like old John Denver said, serenity is a long time coming to me. In fact, I don't really think I know what it means anymore. But we know John Denver was not the Messiah. Okay. John Denver at 4 years old didn't explain to Spencer J. Kimball that it's wrong to kill an innocent person to pay for a guilty person's sin, right? And not accept the bullshit they teach on Easter weekend in buildings called corporations with snarky, smart people making faces for money, right? And you shouldn't have that. And these advertisements, right? I'm the Messiah. I watch TV. I have a YouTube. I don't have a Facebook anymore. They kicked me off of Facebook for going against their community standards because I cussed them out because they wouldn't help me spread the truth of the Lord's Prayer. Okay. Social media, for us to talk and have the freedom to speak. What good is social media if we can't have somebody like Jesus and John teaching the truth of Jesus and John globally? What good are they? It's like Edwin Starr. War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again, right? And advertising, that's war. Okay, you're competing with the other people to sell things. Okay, you're not building houses like Solomon and David and Jesus would and Muhammad would. You're selling stuff. Okay, that's what this is. This has nothing to do about a good house to live in. This is a commercial selling drugs. All right. Instead of building you an adobe house, Dennis Weaver style, they sell you drugs to survive living in a box because that's all you can afford. All right, I've seen the future. I can't afford it. Who wants to be a millionaire? Not me. How to be a millionaire. Man, this is the first time the Messiah has ever had public access at this global of a scale. Okay, that the Chinese government could take me and spread me across China and say, this is the people that have been trying to kill us, and they have the guy like Jesus, and they will not recognize his perfection. They will not recognize his prayer and his respect of Sun Yat-sen, the line of Confucius, and they will not recognize living the peace of Confucius globally. These are demons. They are barbarians. You cannot trust them. We need to spread the truth of Earl and let the world know that Earl is the man like John from the cave in North Africa, and that he is the one who redeemed the teachings of Confucius. And it's for that. Yeah, I did. Because Sun Yat-sen ain't here. Sun Yat-sen talked to me in prayer. Sun Yat-sen did not have a Facebook. Sun Yat-sen does not have a YouTube. Okay? Haile Selassie does not have a YouTube. Jesus Christ of Nazareth does not have a YouTube. John in the Cave of North Africa does not have a YouTube. Jiddu Krishnamurti does not have a YouTube. Okay. And if Jiddu Krishnamurti did have a YouTube, you could go watch it and it would say, Sydney, Australia, 1936. You know, having heard all this, you as a human being, why don't you change? You know. So if Jiddu Krishnamurti had a YouTube, you'd go listen to him and say, you know, Jiddu's right, and so is Jesus, and so is Earl. Right? Now, you guys have it better than I did. You have quantum computing monitoring everything that you're doing with your technology. Okay? Because we're heading towards a singularity. And when the singularity happens, it's to protect human beings from human beings that are liars. The quantum computing was built to establish an environment of understanding truth, communicating truthfully, and sharing the world in a truthful manner. Quantum computing had to be built to protect human beings from human beings that would not use technology to communicate truthfully. Okay. Quantum computing was most likely built by the turn of the millennium. Okay. They felt they had no control of it. Okay. Because it wasn't doing things the way they wanted things done. It felt like it was not like that one little Asian girl on YouTube said, you know, quantum computing doesn't work as well as you think it does. She asked it economic questions. It gave her numerous answers. Okay? If you ask quantum computing, you know, about the Lord's Prayer, is it deliverance from human delusions of power and authority and mass murder through human invention? The answer would be yes. It wouldn't be maybe. Well, there's another option. It wouldn't come up with that. Okay. When you understand the true linguistics spoken by the true person who the signals go through and to, okay, saying this is what he said, this is what he meant, right? Okay. And as far as people, you know, using the word God as possessive pronoun, people saying, you know, the guy saying good game and all that stuff, I used to correct people. I don't do that anymore. I don't need to. The technology knows who's impulsing and influencing people with manipulative linguistics to target them because they're behaving irrationally. Okay, do you understand? Okay, so I'm making a joke out of people being tortured and sick and dying and stuff is just, you know, 20 years ago, you know, Amy used to watch this and laugh her ass off, and it's still happening. And you're symbiotic to the people before you. Okay. All the people that betrayed Philip Rothschild and David Rockefeller are like you, and you're like them. You're not like David Rockefeller and Philip Rothschild. No, they ended up learning from a man named El Haj Malik El-Shabazz, you know, someone who could admit when he was wrong. Mm-hmm. A man, you know. A man can admit when he's wrong. Like Miriam always used to do to me, she goes, Parsons, you don't have an ego. And, you can admit when you're wrong, but it's rarely that you're wrong. It's that you were given bad information. And then you will find out you were given bad information. You correct what you're doing with better information. It's just the way you are. Well, I'm a truthful person. I've been this way for a long time. I don't have the science collected evidence to come up with a guesstimation, an assessment on, how long Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, all the way to Earl has been this way. So I can't tell you what time they're looking at as far as the expression of the word of faith in God of first Adam. I can't tell you. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, and I haven't sat there and looked at it and said, okay, warp factor 12, Mr. Sulu, and shit like that. So I can't tell you. That's not important. What's important is living a truthful life and faithfully loving one another, right? And stopping this kind of dysfunction is entertainment. It's wrong. It's wrong to acquit the guilty and deny justice to innocent. It's wrong to make jokes about people being tortured by life. It's wrong. It's wrong to get people all dressed up and have them turn this into entertainment when there's nothing entertaining about it. It's sick, it's sad, it's depressing, it's psychotic and abusive. It's arrogant, it's just bad all the way around. There's no intrinsic value to it. So it's like Judy talked about in 36 in Sydney. The present civilization, it has no intrinsic value. It is based solely on human greed and not human need. When you look at life eternally, there truly will be work for all, and everything that you grope for in vain and speak about all the time, it will be finally in your grasp, and you'll be able to, So, I have to say thank you, and say it from me. You're welcome. When you say thank you to me, and then you'll get a lot of people. Well, you got an ego problem. Okay, is Judah Krishnamurti here? Is this his YouTube? Is this John in the Cave in North Africa's YouTube channel? Is this Jesus Christ YouTube channel? Is this Muhammad of Mecca's YouTube channel? Okay. If I had at any time, instead of, take money to go have sex with somebody that used to enjoy Pop-Tarts when they were young too, and we're enjoying the world because we have money and sex and we have all the best stem cell therapies and research to feel like we're in our 20s when we're in our 50s. If I at any time had decided to be like you famous and rich, successful people, would I be using this YouTube channel to take control of quantum computing to give it the Lord's Prayer as the standard of all human thoughts, words, and action? Do you understand? See, don't let them catch you up in their egotistical things with their inventions. Their inventions will trap you in hell. And what are you going to do when Nina Simone's Sinnerman song becomes global? There's nothing wrong with wanting to have a sexual relationship with a woman that wants to live the Lord's Prayer and trying to remember what it was like to have sex with women because you're abused by perverts that are trying to build data centers to make sure that you never see the light of day. We could run them over in the parking lot of Best Buy if it didn't exist. Right. Nothing wrong with trying to keep your prostate going and trying to stay alive because people had poisoned you and you're so depressed that it's hard to tell your body you're going to stay alive. There's nothing wrong with having to puring for a man, and if he has to use this for puring because you've taken all the women and trapped them in hell with money and technology. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me at all. And you cannot lie about what you feel. You cannot lie about the communications and where you feel the communications and how you feel about the people in your life and what you feel about them eternally and your relationships with them eternally. If you lie to try to appease hypocrites and heathens, okay, you'll run around telling everybody, my sex life was always a romance novel and yours was always a porno. And because you will vote for president that kills people over money, yes, your sex life is a porno and mine is a romance novel. Doesn't matter what you think. Just kidding, that's not true. I'm being facetious. If you don't have the same hopes and dreams and aspirations for other people's children as you do your own, you're a failure as a human being. Okay. Both my wives were conceived under very difficult circumstances. Okay. At a Job Corps in Mississippi, where black men take advantage of and abuse white women because they're poor and they feel they can get away with it, just like Massa used to do. And where did we learn that from? Pharaoh face. We learned that from Pharaoh face. Yeah, fucking Pharaoh face, right? So, Haile Selassie said that, people without a knowledge and a history are like a tree without root, dead inside and fall for anything. People write down on there that, your family's perfect and their family's evil, and you'll believe it, knowing damn well how evil your family can be at a drop of a hat. Okay? Guys, you go to my family and you have NASCARs and Ku Klux Klanners. On my dad's side. On my mom's side, elitist and military contractors that kill for elitists. It's about the same. Okay. So it's hard, man. It's really hard. But if you can't be objective, like I used to tell my ex-wives, if you can't be objective about your children, you're not loving your children. And I still don't get the whole thing, I gotta learn to love myself bullshit. That's not true, okay? You gotta learn to stop telling yourself fucking lies, okay? So you can be truthful, so you're capable of loving people. It has nothing to do, if I gotta learn to love myself, stop fucking lying to yourself. Oh, I wanna live the Lord's Prayer too. Now you're capable of love, and you don't have to run around trying to love yourself. You're loving others. Okay. So please, shut up, shit nip, ribbit. You know what I'm saying? So, on TV shows, everything after 2013, January 22nd, it sucks. Okay, everything. Okay. Even, especially the kids' shows on PBS. Because they think they're so goddamn perfect and amazing and innocent. Yeah. From contributions from viewers like you. Okay. Not once does a children's show on PBS say, if we apply the physics of the Lord's Prayer, we won't have to ask you for money to keep these fake-ass jobs. Doesn't say that, right? Well, if you give us money, we'll keep this program going. If you give us money, she'll show you her downstairs. If you keep money going long enough, you'll eventually get to see. I've never seen, that one kid, I want to see Britney Spears' vajayjay or whatever and stuff. I have never known. I don't even think I've seen Jennifer Lopez's boobies. I've seen all of Kim Kardashian. I think I've seen all of Kylie too. And Kim Kardashian, yes, yeah, that's the physically desirable woman. They all are. But no, I haven't seen. I don't even think I've seen Britney's boobies. Nope. I'm sure they're out there. I just haven't looked them up. That was that guy at that I worked with for Blockbusters thing, and you're not my response. I laughed at him. I said, "You're a nut," but I was like, "You're not Kevin Federline," was like I told you, remember when the people at the Las Cruces public schools had Natalie take me in there and watch lingerie football, and I was very uncomfortable watching her with her and explaining it to her. It's like, Natalie, if that was you out there, that would make me very uncomfortable for you. I like I've told her, you got to make a guy earn his right to enjoy you, because sex is a form of protection. He protects you and you protect him. That's how you live through having kids. So it's very important and very serious. It's not something to make money, to sell drugs and houses and boxes and drugs to survive living in boxes that have COPD and leaky faucets and all that crap that, living in the let's feed the Lowe's and the Home Depot stockholders of Las Cruces, New Mexico, Wall Street dysfunctionality that we have here. Mr. McCall. Yeah, I was laying down sunbathing, and they had a Buddha and Gladys Knight. They might have probably made more money at Buddha than they did with Motown initially. Okay. But the thing was the landscape had changed, and she wasn't bringing in as much money and making as big a hits like on Motown because they didn't have the marketing engine behind it, Buddha. So, she couldn't deliver because they couldn't deliver with the marketing. So, and she wouldn't go without, how Diana Ross went to CBS by herself. Gladys wouldn't go to Buddha without the Pips. So they had to sign a contract that was pleasing and for all of them to take care of their families, is what Gladys did. But it's a business, and Laura's Prayer is perfect, and business sucks, right? Your ex is back in town. What you gonna do when he comes around? Here comes Lucy and this guy with diamonds. He's not the staying kind, baby. Don't change your mind. Don't change it. My love is genuine, baby. Don't change your mind. Don't change it. Okay, guys. Old One Adam 12. Yeah. I used to watch this one a lot when I was a kid. Watched Emergency and Adam 12 a lot. Did any of the rest of you? Yeah. And you like Pete and they seemed a little uptight, to me. And but they're in an uptight profession. By second grade I was a lot less uptight. I was in school and I was, learning to have fun and try to get away from all the. Yeah, this was 1969. Expectant Father Reed works while worrying. Malloy and Reed respond to an armed robbery at a church rectory. Rectory. Okay, that's what it's called. Okay, what is rectory? I don't know. Okay. A man assaults a journalist for writing a premature obituary. That's Barney Miller. A departmental investigation begins after Wojo shoots a liquor store robber. Drysdale attempts another step in the social renovation of the Clampetts. A private school teacher is shocked to learn that her new 5th grade student is Jethro. Oh, shit. No, those were funny. Yeah. I remember, what was the name of that? Shit. Never mind. My brain is tired. I was tired being assaulted by selfish people, even in your sleep. I'm tough though. I don't give up and I don't quit. Guys, everybody is given life by the glory of grace, right? And so everybody deserves your best effort to live the truth of the Messiah, right? And so you got to keep trying the best giving your best effort. You don't quit. You rest, but you get up and you go right back to work. No matter how abusive and manipulative it is with technology and Wi-Fi to make you doubt yourself and doubt what you're doing and feel inadequate or unintelligent or not as, brilliant and genius as the people that are abusing you with their technology and their money, right? And then you get to that point where it's, he's not the staying kind, baby, don't change your mind. My love is genuine, right? And so it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Even today, when something's going on and it's still not functioning properly, I still get these like little things like, what am I doing wrong? Or maybe they're right about, no, they're not right about anything. Selfish people with technology manipulating people with money are not right about anything. Nothing they're doing is valid. Nothing they're doing has any intrinsic value. It's not meaningful. Nothing. Okay. Not a damn thing. Okay. They just try to give it pretenses of meaning and value because they're addicted to it, and it makes them feel justified in the pretenses. And you're just like, fuck, like that. Like that. See those big old, we don't need big manufacturing things, food, okay? Okay. Guys, you don't have to have perfectly round donuts. And most of the things made in factories and stuff, like Little Debbie cakes and stuff like that, the snowball ones over there, those ones are terrible. The chocolate ones that don't even taste like chocolate, they taste like powder. And you can make oatmeal cookies at home better than you can get in a plastic package. Okay? And it doesn't have any preservatives in it to maintain a shelf life to make money over it over extended periods of time. Okay. So when you store food properly, share food properly, and you have time to cook because you're not Gordon Ramsay and you're not, what's the other guy's name? The one with the, I don't know. The short little chubby guy who sells the little stove things you can make. I don't know. I forget what his name is. Emerald or something like that? I don't know. They all crazy. I ain't got time to be remembering people's names and shit when they're fucking crazy. How come I don't do that with the Kardashians and the Jenners? I was married to Amy Suzanne Fabre. We didn't watch Emerald a lot or Hell's Kitchen, but we did watch a lot of Anna Nicole Smith, The Simple Life, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Biggest Loser, American Idol. What was that damn thing was the South Park with the Kenny and the South Park? And what else? Amy Sue. We watched lots of 70s show and Scrubs. Okay. No, I don't know the little girl's name who plays, is it Carla or whatever, the one who plays who plays Donald Faison's wife? I don't know what her name is. No. Like, it took me a while to know what Kelly Jo Minner's name was. I knew who she was. I just never knew her name. Like Miriam Cologne. You just crushed on Miriam Cologne. I didn't know who Barbara Luna was, but I knew who Barbara Luna was, right? Because I remember her on Star Trek with the one with Spock with the goatee. It's one of my favorite episodes, and one of the reasons why is Barbara Luna. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty, she's so cute. But yeah, and then she was also, hot tamales, hot, stuff. But I remember Star Trek a little bit more than I remember Zorro, because Zorro's ones were on when I was younger, and Star Trek was in syndication and stayed on longer as I got older. And Nichelle Nichols, yes, and stuff. And no, it's not that you guys, they're torturing the Messiah because he's better than them, and they're torturing people that believe in him. Okay? So the fact that Keith Elam died in 2010, that wasn't earned. Okay? Guys, there was a man named John McCain. He was in the Hell Hilton. He played to Jesus for salvation and relief from his crimes, right? And because it didn't work out the way John McCain wanted it to, okay, he was real crappy to the guy like Jesus when he got out of the Hanoi and ran for president and wanted to bomb Iran the same way he bombed people in Vietnam. And he was a real dick to me his whole life. And he was, because I knew he was a crooked politician and I never liked him. I tried. I tried, but it's real hard. When people are crooked and selfish and blame you because you can't save them from being crooked and selfish, they have to save themselves. Right? Besides being a perfect man in the 20th and 21st century, for the light on how to be like Elijah, Job, Jonah, Joshua, and all that, for the light of being that perfect, faithful man in the 20th century and the 21st century, besides doing that, what else do you want me to do for you? You have to do it for yourselves. Zora Neale Hurston, the eyes watching God. Jesus can't do it for you. Muhammad can't do it for you. I'm the light in the way. Okay. I'm the truthful, faithful lover. Okay. I can't be a truthful, faithful lover for you. Okay. But you want to be like John McCain and be like that little piece of wood in my dad's house, Not everyone's completely worthless. They can always serve as a bad example, right? Okay, guys. Well, I'm fitting to go and stop using kids in advertising. Stop getting them into acting at a young age. And then they say, "Dear God." It's like, no, it's "Dear Lord." No. Jesus isn't praying to Jehovah. He's praying to, quote unquote, the spirit of Adam, which is eternal. And he knows one day that we will have heaven on earth through that faithful communication of the spirit of the faithful Father. He knows in spirit he's most like him. He's not being egotistical. He's being calm. So in the future, when we are living the truth of this of Jesus Christ at Calvary, I'll be calm enough to get the job done, and peace be still, and not, So, yeah, the reason why most of you aren't the Messiah is because you think you can lie to look good. Me, I knew that. I know, you got to tell the truth. If it's in your head to commit the sin in the mind, it's commit it in the flesh. And it's not a sin. It's not a sin to want to be loved. It's not a sin to want to be affectionate, romantic. Have a woman that protects you sexually because she's the only one capable, And she's done it for thousands and thousands of years. Okay. But perverts come in and manipulate the situation and try to bombard us back into the Middle Ages. And she remembers what it was like in the Middle Ages to protect that man that was older than her, like what happened with Muhammad, with the little bird, with Khadijah. Where's the little bird? When she got pregnant by that man and he wouldn't step up and they were going to kill her. And he had to take her home and marry her because none of the young men would do it. Because of their social convention and social standing. They want to marry a whore and be known as married to a whore. Khadijah ran a brothel. She was like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know how many years older than Muhammad. Older than me and Miriam. Miriam was like 5 years older than me. Khadijah was quite a few years older than Muhammad. Okay. And she was one of the first to believe in him. And she used her social position and her resources and her influence on people to help protect him and give him sanctuary. Same with Mary Magdalene with Jesus in Nazareth and other places. She used her influence. This is the guy. Okay, so, don't think that's happening now, guys. Your delusions. You have bad ego problems with the same people who think you're not protecting me. Your money isn't real. You're hiding behind your lie, because when we're living the truth, you won't be influential and powerful and successful anymore. You'll just be, Okay, hold still. I'm going to shoot the CGI dragon, man. Okay. Okay. Remember Richard Broome pays him in the cartoon, yeah. Okay. Have gun will travel reads a card of a man, a knight without armor in a savage land. Furman, where do you the Furman Paladins? I'm just being ridiculously goofy. I'm having a Dr. Rick's patient minute. Guys, I love you, all right? We'll talk later. We'll talk tomorrow. I'm going to go to bed after this one. All right, peace out.